forming their own identity in their own language about themselves from the language that they hear from you. When you hear you are smart, you internalize that. When a child is able to comprehend language that is being spoken to them, they start to internalize it. They may not repeat to you what is being said to them, especially if what is being said to them is not nurturing and uplifting, but they are saying it in the same way that when you are nurturing a child properly and you say, "You're smart," what do they say? "Yeah, because I'm smart." If you say to a child, "Stop doing that, you big dummy," they don't say verbally, "Yeah, because I'm a big dummy," but I promise you, internally, they say that. For many of us, and we will get here, the identity that you're walking in is the assumed identity that either you put on or your ego created to separate you from the identity that you have within your subconscious mind. And we're going to dissect that, but let's keep building. Let's follow this chord. There is the past trauma or whatever you've experienced. There's that. That shapes the way that you see the world. It shapes your response to all the societal expectations of you. It shapes the way that you see yourself in comparison to others. And this leads to a tendency to constantly create negative stories about yourself. The negative stories about yourself come in comparison to others, but it started from the initial story that you was told that you took on as your identity. You'll often hear me talk about your lens. Your lens. The things that you're told about yourself shape your lens or your perception of the world. What is your lens? Cognitive distortion. What is cognitive distortion, coach? I often explain this to you all when I say phrases like, we are all creating the reality that we are experiencing. And some people go, "I don't have a magic wand, coach. I'm not out here like changing things. So how am I creating the reality that I am experiencing?" I'll say it to you another way. No evidence is ever created. If you believe something is going to happen in your life and you start to see the evidence of that thing happening in your life, that evidence is not being created. Nothing ever gets created. You just actually see it. Meaning, cognitive distortion is your mind's ability to bend reality to fit into your belief systems. Meaning, if you believe that you are a failure because that's what you've been told most of in your entire life, you have the ability to cognitively distort reality to provide you with all of the evidence of your constant and continued failure because that's what you believe. i.e., you are creating the reality that you are experiencing. We all have that ability. It is built into you. No two of us are experiencing the same reality even when we are together doing the exact same thing. Think about that. No two of us are experiencing the exact same reality even when we are standing hand in hand doing the exact same thing because this thing that we call reality is being perceived. And the perception based on your lens is being interpreted. The interpretation based on your belief system is being reinterpreted and accepted as a certain thing. That's why two people can see the exact same thing, have the exact same experience, go through the exact same conversation. If you pull them apart and ask them what happened, totally different things took place. Because we are all perceiving reality based on factors that are unique to you. And we're discussing right now how self-doubt and limiting beliefs built into your younger years and even in your adult experiences create the reality or provide you, your lens provides you the evidence of the things that have been baked into your identity. Because these things have been baked into your identity and your rejection of these ideas of yourself or these parts of yourself, we find a mask that we feel will be more acceptable. And this is where your ego does its best work, is providing you a image or a cover to protect you. Let's keep building. Let's talk about self-doubt and your limiting beliefs and how they're rooted in childhood. Talking about shaping identity, the mask. We learn to wear the mask as at the first sign of rejection of who we are. Do you know that as children, we try out different versions of ourselves? So let me show you an example. Children are constantly learning. In fact, children embrace learning in a way that we should take notes from. So much so that Yahshua said, come as children, because they have qualities in the way that they perceive the world that you could benefit from. Children try out different identities in their development stage. And you, as the adult, or you as the child, you were trying out different identities, but here's the catch. You always try what is authentically true to you first. What does that mean, coach? So here are a couple of things that happens. Most of a child's behavior is learned and observed. But along with that learned and observed behavior, there's also an element of who they truly are. Some of us are fortunate enough to have children who are just naturally strong-willed. Their spirit came from a time or a place, or have been in a time and a place where they just have a presence about themselves. Those children are going to be what some people might call hard-headed. Those children are going to be what other people would call strong-willed. Here's the thing with those type of children, and this is what I mean by they try out their identity first. And I'm really painting a picture about you, and I want you to think back of your experience having done this. Children try on their identity first because they're going to show up as naturally who they're free as being first. And then what happens from the environment, the caregivers, the people around them? When they show up naturally who they are authentically, they're either embraced and accepted, or they're told, whether directly, indirectly, physically, emotionally, or verbally, you better fix that and don't show up as that person anymore. So what does a child do? That behavior is not acceptable nor received in this environment. Let me not be the type of child that explores. I keep highlighting this one thing because I don't think we realize how damaging this is. And this is not my personal trauma, so I don't want you all to think like Coach is stuck on this, because this is his experience. We didn't even go to stores. But this idea of don't touch anything, I highlight that thing because every time I see it, I can feel the trauma coming off of the parent that says it, or the caregiver that says it. Don't touch anything. That's a child. They're inquisitive. They're naturally supposed to explore. They're supposed to want to touch things. They're supposed to want to learn things. They're supposed to want to understand things. This is how they learn the world around them. When you, as the parent or the caregiver, even when I see this in stores, it tells me a lot about other things that may be happening in the way that you perceive your role as a guide. That's the fact that most of us don't understand. You are a parent. You are not simply an authority over a child that you produced in this world. You are a guide more than an authority. But what's happening is that child, you at one point showed up as who you were authentically in your childhood. And your environment may not have been conducive to the child that you were. So your environment told you, don't do that. Stop doing that. Stop asking me so many questions. Why are you always getting into stuff? Stop jumping around. Stop doing this. Stop doing that. Stop. Don't do that. Don't do this. There's never any direction. There's never any nurturing of whatever it is that is producing this behavior. There's always a stop. And what comes out of that? An adult that doesn't believe in his or herself. An adult that your instincts, listen to this, when an opportunity presents itself, your instincts is to what? Stop and question whether you are good enough for the opportunity. Stop and question whether this is the right thing for you. Stop and question whether you'll even have the skill sets, the ability to make it. Stop and question. Stop. It becomes a mantra. It becomes the internal critic. It becomes the voice of your inner child. It becomes the identity that you cannot bear, so you find a mask that looks a lot better. We learn to wear the mask at the first sign of rejection of who we are. And that is the shaping our identity. I want to talk about the imposed identity. And this is a little tough for me personally, because this is something that I personally had to grow from. Some of us assume the identity we were given. You ever heard a parent or a person or an adult call a child dumb, stupid? What do you think happens? What do you think happens in a stage of development when you tell a child you'll be nothing? When your own internalized failures and your own unhealed traumas are being unleashed on that child, what do you think happens? To a child in their developmental stage that is being told that you are not valuable, you have no purpose, that you are a failure. You believe it. You believe that is who you are. You accept that narrative. So throughout your life, even as a child, you expect yourself to fail. You expect yourself to not be good enough. You expect people to mistreat you because that is the identity that you've assumed. There's a saying for those of us that assume those identities: the stone that the builder rejected has become the cornerstone. We often celebrate has become the cornerstone. We often see that stone on these beautiful buildings and beautiful structures, and we see that as described, that cornerstone is the foundational block that is holding up this whole beautiful structure. Do you know how many cornerstones that were rejected and never made it? And when I say cornerstones, I mean, do you know how many people that had the gift that could have shifted this world that never made it? I know we like to think that God is in heaven playing chess with our lives and that God is the one that's moving these pieces, but I want you to understand that that is a flawed understanding of the world, and it does not fit any narrative. What is likely and what is truly happening is each and every one of us possessing a piece of the universal energy are creating our individual realities, and collectively we are creating what we call life on a collective scale. We are destroying every piece, gift, every talent, every person that has been given a significant enough gift for the benefit of the whole. We destroy him. And it starts with the attempt to destroy you. The assumed identity are those of us who have tremendous gifts inside of us. But too often those gifts are never unraveled or discovered because we assumed the identity of the words of the people that were to care for us. We assumed the identity that were given to us based on their own unhealed trauma. We assumed the identity of their hateful words. We assumed the identity of their own fears. We assumed the identity of their own darkness. Many of us are like the prodigal son, only eating in a pig's pen because you were told that you're a pig, when in fact, what lies inside of you, the greatness of your gift, the greatness of your purpose, makes you a part of a royal priesthood. And beyond that, the spirit that resides inside of you has the power and the ability that we call the collective universal energy, God, source, creator. But you know why those of us that do survive never fully blossom into all that our gift and our purpose is? Because we found a mask that makes us acceptable to the people that rejected us. We've found a mask that make us acceptable to a society that we were told we would never fit in. We found a mask that makes us look like all the other stones. So what should have been a cornerstone is now just being placed on any other part of the building. Because rather than standing in your rejection, rather than standing in your uniqueness, rather than standing in all that you are, you learned how to put on a mask that made you like all the other stones. And yes, you fit in now. You fit into the building. You fit perfectly into the building. You look like all the other stones. You have been accepted, but that's not your purpose or your place. If only we were taught how to accept being the flawed stone, because that flaw is what makes you unique. If only we were taught, loved, nurtured properly. If only we were allowed to understand that each of us bear a gift and a purpose that can only be discovered through service. Here's the reason why many people will never discover their purpose, and this is not a negative thing. This is an eye-opener. You see, when you've been rejected most of your life, until you truly heal, you are resistant to serving other people. Why? Because nobody did a damn thing for me. I made it to where I am by myself. Nobody did nothing for me. Not realizing that even though you may be a success today, but your greatest gift is in your service to people. That is your greatest gift, because that is your alignment to the part of you that is your higher self. That is your alignment to the part of you that is one with God's source creator. That is what makes you so much more. But that gift is through service. And for those of us that were rejected, it is hard to bring yourself to be of service because no one did anything for you. Why would you now, having discovered your gift, having discovered your ability, serve the people who did everything to destroy you? Because everything that is aligned with God's source, the creator, serves. It is just a way, because if you have a piece of God inside of you and I have a piece of God inside of me, the true service to God is to not this idea of God, but is right here. Let's keep building. For the comments, for the moderators that are here, if there's a question or something that I absolutely should be addressing, please throw it up with the stars so that I know. I'm a little bit further away from that screen today, so I can't really read unless I lean further in. I want to talk about this aspect of also the assumed identity, is the self-fulfilling prophecy. The self-fulfilling prophecy comes out of the assumed identity. There are many young men, brilliant. Embedded in them are the gifts that could have changed this world. But they were told, you are going to die in these streets. You're never going to be anything. You're dumb, you're stupid, you're worthless. I regret bringing you into this world, or without saying it, there are parents that reject you without ever having to say they rejected you, but they rejected you with their absence. There are many of young men and women that are living the prophecy of an assumed identity. What does that mean? You are not what they said you are, but because they spoke this over your life so much and you have never learned how to speak contrary to what they spoke over your life, now their words are just being fulfilled in your life, and that is not who you are. Their words are being fulfilled in your reality, and that is not who you are. But there's power in words. So when you speak over your children, just know you're not only speaking and feeding their identity, but you could be speaking a prophecy over their lives. A prophecy that if that child never makes it to a place where he or she can receive different information, that child may never walk away from those words that you've spoken over his or her life. And here's the fact of it. Many of us are here right now breaking the prophecies that were spoken over our lives. Many of us are here now overcoming the words that other people spoke over our lives, and we know it to be true, because I can tell you personally, there were times in my life where the trajectory of my life was exactly the negative words that they spoke over me. I'll share with you all a very personal truth. Many people don't know this unless you were actually a part of the process of I'm going to share this. We're not going to stay here. I don't want anyone to get overly sentimental about it. But I think it's important for me to share because it speaks to this point. I remember when I was 16 and I was told, you are going to unalive in these streets if you don't change your life. And I was being told this by the same people that were pushing me out into said streets because there was no love, nurturing, or any type of affection in an environment that I was in. So I sought it everywhere that I could try to find it. And I found camaraderie with the boys that were as lost as I was. I found camaraderie with the young men that were as rejected as I was. I found camaraderie with the young men that were trying to find a way, trying to find a purpose, and trying to find an understanding of life. So that's how we formed our little neighborhood connection. And I remember they told this to me. Not in a sense of, here's what you can do better, or you are so much more, or you're worth so much more, or you're so valuable. But they told me that I'd be dead at 16 because that's what they thought of my life. I lost my son at 16. In those very same neighborhoods that they spoke over my life, that I'd be dead in. I don't give any power to those words to say that someone spoke that over my life and therefore transferred to my kid. However, I will say this. I battled those words over my life at the time when it was critical to my son's development. So while I was still trying to overcome those words of defeat, those words of being worthless, and those words that had me lost and trying to find my identity, while I was fighting those words, my son was also fighting those words because he didn't have a dad that was present enough to make sure that he didn't also adopt those same ideologies. The words that are spoken over our lives have power, but I assure you, no one's words bear more power over your life than yours. And I understand that personally, because no matter what has been spoken over my life, when I learned the power of my own energy and when I learned the power of my own ability to speak over my life and speak into my life, I started making sure that every word that was ever spoken over my life that did not align with my true identity, I addressed it. Let's keep building. The self-fulfilling prophecy is becoming your assumed identity. That has never been you. That was never your name. The name calling, for those of you that were called names in your childhood, for those of you that were called names in your adulthood, for those of you that were called out of your name in your adult relationships, for those of you that were vulnerable at times in your emotional state where people's words managed to embed themselves in your subconscious mind, for those of you that have had those experiences, that's never been who you are. You may have answered to those names. You may have reacted to those names, but that is not you. And here's what I want you to recognize. You can release the characteristics and the traits that come from those names because that is not your identity. And the mask that you have been wearing to cover that shame, to cover that false identity, you no longer have to wear anymore, because guess what? The false identity is a mask that is not you. Beneath those lies, beneath those names, beneath all of that is your greatest self. Your most authentic self is your most powerful. And that is where your purpose lies. Let's transition to what these limiting beliefs and self-doubt looks like as we grow. Many people experience imposter syndrome. And I have this very unique perspective on what I believe imposter syndrome feels like internally. Imposter syndrome is when your younger version, the version of you that have been given an image or an idea or an ideology that is different, that version that has been told that they're nothing, they're worthless, they're not good enough, they're never going to achieve anything, they're never going to be anything, because you never took the time to address, nurture, and heal that version of you. But out of that may have come drive, ambition, and because you don't want to be that thing that they said you are, you've been driven to be all that you have accomplished. Because you never addressed this version of you, this version of you sees the version of you that you are today, this well-accomplished person. Your inner child sees this person as the imposter. Who are you? When you're going into those high meetings or wherever this place is that you don't believe you're supposed to be, you accomplished it. The adult version of you accomplished it. You did the work. You went to the colleges. You got all the degrees. You did everything that you were supposed to do. So you know who you are. So what is this part of you that is questioning who you are today? That's the version of you that you never healed. That's the version of you that you never nurtured. That's the version of you that they told was never good enough to accomplish the things that you are accomplishing today. The imposter inside of you is the version of you today, because that younger version of you don't know you. Who are you? Who is this accomplished person? They told me I was nothing. They told me I'd be nothing. They told me I'd achieve nothing. Who are you? Another manifestation of self-doubt and limiting beliefs is decision paralysis. Decision paralysis looks so different for so many people. Let's start on the small, simple scale. How many of you have spent more time thinking about a decision than you actually spent executing the decision? How many of you have spent more time thinking about the decision that you already made? You already decided, I'm going to go left. And then you sit there paralyzed about the idea of going left because you're not sure if going left was the best decision to make, when you just sat here and thought about it. Why am I questioning myself about going left? I did the thinking already. Decision paralysis is a manifestation of self-doubt and limiting beliefs that I may not make the right decision. More seriously than something as simple as going left, what about your career opportunities? What about public speaking when you have to say something? What about pursuing your personal passions? Are you in a state of decision paralysis, not because you're not ready or not because the situation's not right? Are you in a state of decision paralysis simply because you don't believe in yourself? That inner child that you have not nurtured keeps telling you you're not going to make it, you're not going to make it, you're not going to make it. Why do you doubt yourself so? Because you've never been told, or you've never had a chance to sit with that younger version of you and address the identity that younger version of you has assumed. Who is the bigger brother of self-doubt and limiting beliefs? Whenever self-doubt and limiting beliefs show up, When you beat up on self-doubt and limiting beliefs, you know who shows up next? Come on. Fear, anxiety. Fear is the big brother of self-doubt and limiting beliefs. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear that I'm going to be exposed. You know that's what the imposter syndrome is too, right? They're going to find out that this little voice inside of me is really who I am and not this big commanding presence that I put on every single day. The fear that I will be exposed, that they will know that the boss, the big respected person is really, 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 really insecure. Let's look at some more behaviors and struggles rooted in self-doubt and limiting beliefs. This one right here, overqualification. Pay attention. Many of us are about to see what we're seeing in society today in many pockets of society. Listen to this. The root of overqualification is the belief that you need to be overprepared or possess excessive credentials to justify your worth. I know. The way that you justify to yourself is by saying, if I don't have all these things, society is not going to respect me. I know. The way you justify it to yourself is you look at all the odds that are against you and you say that accomplishing all of these things makes you even on the playing field. I know those are all great justifications, but can I please show you that is how you feel internally? Can I please show you that there are people who don't internalize this belief system, but when they show up, because their belief system propels them a certain way, because their belief system presents them a certain way, there is already an assumption that they have the thing that you feel like your degrees give you. Because of the way that they show up, because internally they have a presence that says, I belong here. Whereas because of your internal belief systems, you only believe you belong there because you have the credentials to be there. I'm not saying that that's not the truth sometimes. I'm not saying that that's not the reality sometimes. But what I'm asking you is, why is that your life belief system? The overqualification is I have to be overly prepared. I must spend excessive hours preparing myself. Why? You know the information. You know what you know. You do what you do and you do it excessively well. Why do you feel like you must be over? Why do you cause this entire uncomfortable situation for yourself, your spouse, your children, or anyone else that is connected to your life? Why are we doing this? There's so much so that now the spouse and the kids have all adjusted to you just being the type of person that must be overly prepared for everything. So much so that we think it's a good thing. I could raise my hand right now. You know how many times I have to tell myself, Kohn, come here, Kohn. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. The value in what we are doing is the doing. It's not you, Kohn. The value in what we are doing is what we are doing. Stop worrying so much of how they're going to perceive the thing and then perceive you. That's fear, Kohn. You're not it. The gift is the it. Let the gift do the thing. You just follow. Jamie says, I over-prepare because my imposter syndrome has gotten the best of me in meetings. Absolutely. Absolutely. If I'm not overly prepared, I know I might get exposed. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be prepared. I'm simply telling you, find the root of it, because just here's important for you to know. Just because an experience has produced some positive result in your response to the experience does not mean you don't need to unpack and heal from it, because your gift and your curse oftentimes are in the same treasure box. We'll get there. The overqualification manifests itself as constantly seeking more qualifications or certifications before feeling ready to take on any challenge, often leading to missed opportunities. Hey, you know they got this grant opportunity, but the deadline is in 3 days. So you start working on it, and you are so consumed with this idea of everything must be perfect. It must be tight because I don't want to be rejected. I don't want to fail. I can't deal with the idea of being a failure because that makes me feel like how they made me feel when I was growing up. So now the deadline is 2 hours away, and the grant preparation thing is already, the application is already, but I can't hit enter on it because I don't feel like I had enough time for me to make it perfect. So I missed the opportunity. I wasn't dressed right, so I didn't say anything. I didn't have on the right outfit, so I didn't say anything. I didn't look the way I needed to look, so I didn't approach him or her. Self-doubt also shows up as, y'all ready for this one? I used to be a manager for about 7 years at Home Depot, and I had to learn this. Whenever I would manage a team, I had to learn these people on my team, because what you intended to be as a good thing can turn into a terrible experience for a person that is fearful of recognition. Oh, come on, come to the front. When I tell you the root of it, you're going to see that it is you. Just come on to the front. It's okay. Listen, you don't totally agree yet, but come to the front. Come on, come on down. Are you ready? Okay, this is why it's you. Watch this. The root is a discomfort with being seen or acknowledged due to the belief that you're unworthy of praise. When I was a manager, and it is not always I'm unworthy of praise. Some people are just uncomfortable with praise, but it's also rooted in the exact same thing. Because if you were praised and acknowledged and uplifted as a child, you were comfortable with that. Those people that have developed this sense of I'm uncomfortable with it because it's not something that they received a lot of in their upbringing. So it is a response to something that they're not used to. I had to learn these people on my teams because they're often great workers. They're often very dedicated people. But please do not put them on the spot by recognizing them in front of this entire team of people. They will get very uncomfortable. How did I learn this as a manager? I did this to one of my supervisors, and the conversation we had after, it was very passionate, but I was able to recognize where the passion was coming from. And I'm not saying that this person had any type of issues, but they were very uncomfortable with being recognized in front of people. It made it very clear to me, Kohn, I know you mean well, and I appreciate you recognizing me for my work, but don't you ever do that to me in front of people again. I was like, what are we talking about here? And they went on to explain to me the level of discomfort that they felt. And from that moment on, I made it a thing that every person that I ever worked for, I made sure I understood how they dealt with recognition and how they preferred to be recognized if that was a thing for them. Because let me show you the manifestation or how it looks like in your life. Avoiding opportunities where you might be publicly recognized or downplaying your achievements when they are acknowledged. Come on, where are you? That is, it's nothing. Hey, you did an amazing job. You knocked that out the park. It was cool. Yeah, some of those people are humble, but some of them don't believe that they are amazing. Some of them, ooh. Have you ever seen a person whose gift was phenomenal, but their self-esteem was under the floor? Have you ever seen these people? They do amazing at whatever it is that their gift presents to them. But do not try to socialize with these people. They have no desire to be your friend. They have no desire to consult with you about how they're creative. They don't want to talk about nothing. I just want to do my work and be left alone. Please leave me alone. Fear of recognition is one that, if you're any type of leader, you need to be sensitive when you meet these brothers and sisters. Let's talk about another one that is related to the fear of recognition: minimizing success. The root is the belief that your successes are minor or unimportant compared to other people. Why? Because your identity compared to other people reflects the way that you see your accomplishments compared to other people. We can tell you all we want to how amazing you are, and we literally think you're just being humble. It's okay. No, you really believe that. You don't see how great and amazing you are at what you do. Constantly attributing your achievements to luck, timing, external help, rather than your own efforts and your own skills. I love the humility, but at a certain point, I recognize when it's not humility. I recognize when you're just simply uncomfortable. I recognize when you're just not comfortable. You're not comfortable with being told that you're amazing because you didn't grow up in an environment where you were told that you're amazing. I'm able to recognize when, okay, we got it. We got it. Let's keep unpacking. Once we get all of this stuff out of your suitcase, I'm going to give you some tools and resources and some different things to put in your suitcase before I send you on your way back on your journey. Stick with me. You want to hear another one? Come to the front. Avoidance of leadership roles. Rooted in the belief that you lack the skills or the authority to lead others. I could personally tell you, one of the things that I enjoyed most about being a manager in a retail setting was finding associates that had the gift but didn't believe in themselves. Oh, there was nothing that I loved more than finding an associate that this is just my part-time job, bro. I just come in here, I do my job, and I go home. And I could see all of the gift and all of the abilities in that person. It became my personal goal to make sure that we change your life by teaching you how to become a manager, a leader, and make some real money in your life. That was my thing. To take a regular part-time associate and teach them how to be a manager and make some real money, oh, that was a thing. Why? Because I could see what they didn't see in themselves. I could see myself in them also. I could see the boy that had a tremendous gift but had no clue because he was always told that he was less than. And a lot of you are in that same role, and it's not just in a work setting. You avoid a leadership role in your personal life. You avoid the leadership role amongst your friends. It took me a really long time for me to realize I was a leader my entire childhood. The reason it took me so long, because everybody else saw it in me before I saw it in myself. Why? because I grew up in an environment that told me I wasn't going to be nothing my entire childhood. So I believed that. But everyone else would see my gift before I even knew I had it. The manifestation of the avoidance of leadership roles is staying away from leadership positions even when qualified and preferring to stay in the background rather than stepping into a leadership role. You know those people who are the best qualified but don't have the social skills? What do you think those social skills are? Those social skills are a manifestation of someone who was never affirmed. Those social skills are a manifestation of someone who was never told to be proud of who they are, but they were beat down and compressed and suppressed. Thank you for sharing, Kawana. So real quick, housekeeping. Thank you all for being a part of this conversation. If you're new to this conversation, welcome to Unpacking with Coach Kohn. Today we're unpacking self-doubt and your limiting beliefs. This episode of Unpacking is brought to you by Happy Healing Health and Life Coaching Services. If you're interested in coaching with Happy Healing, please do send us an email to kohn@happyhealing.com. If this information you're hearing here today you can relate to and you would like some further information on how to unpack and how to unravel this in your life, then I would recommend you take a look at one of our coaching services. We offer hourly coaching. We offer group mentorship that is similar to this setting, but they're held in private Zoom meetings with 5 participants where your concerns, questions, or needs are incorporated into the monthly curriculum. And if you need a deeper dive on a more intense journey for your coaching experience, then we would recommend our premium From Trauma to Triumph 90-day coaching program. You can find the link to all of these services in the link tree in my bio, or simply send us an email to kohn@happyhealing.com. If you're also interested in sponsoring an episode of Unpacking, send me an email to Kohn, that's KOHN, @happyhealing.com, and we can consult and work out some terms. Another manifestation of self-doubt is the identity crisis. Come on, those of you that have multiple masks. Come on, those of you that have multiple masks. The identity crisis is rooted in constantly questioning your purpose or role in life due to a lack of self-assurance, or constantly questioning how you fit into an environment, into a friend group, or even into your own family. Constantly questioning how you fit into life at all. And what part of you will be accepted. The manifestation of the identity crisis. Don't be mad at me, y'all. Don't be mad at me. Just, if it fits and it's a little tight on you, that just implies that it's time for you to receive the information and grow into a new shoe size. Don't be mad at me because these examples are going to fit your feet and be a little snug and make you uncomfortable. Just know that it means it's time for you to grow out of these examples and grow into a new shoe size in life. You ready? Here are the manifestation of the identity crisis. Frequent changes in career paths. Frequent changes in hobbies. Frequent changes in social groups or friend circles. Constantly searching for validation. Constantly seeking a sense of belonging. Constantly seeking acceptance in multiple friend groups, which leads to different rash appearances, different rash changes in appearances. Meaning, because you're constantly seeking acceptance in these different spaces, you're constantly changing your appearance to match the space that you're seeking acceptance in. and then needing each of those different groups to validate you. And even when they validate you, it's still not enough. Let's keep building. I want to spend more time here, but we have a lot more to cover in not too much time. All right, let's get to work. Kawana, does that mean that there's a question or something that you need me to answer? That's what I think those mean. If yes, I'm ready. Another manifestation of self-doubt and limiting beliefs is your over-reliance on mentorship or leadership. You need someone to be there to affirm that you're making the right decisions. You need someone to be there to tell you that you're doing the right thing. You need somebody to be there to pat you on the back. You need somebody to be there to confirm that you can deal with the outcome. You need someone to always be there to tell you that you're going in the right direction. Not saying that we all don't need mentors, but you are over-reliant on needing somebody to confirm that you are doing what you are supposed to be doing. The root is the belief that you cannot succeed without the constant guidance or approval from somebody else. The manifestation is constantly seeking out mentors or role models to validate every decision, leading to a dependency on external approval rather than trusting your own judgment. That's rooted in self-doubt. We all need mentorship. But at what point are you just looking for a leader instead of a mentor? At what point are you looking for someone to confirm your life instead of giving you some type of guidance? Let's go on to the next one. Discomfort with negotiations. Let me show you what this looks like. Belief that you do not deserve more than what is offered, whether in salary, opportunities, or respect. When somebody offers you beneath what you believe is yours, you just accept it. Because deeply enough, even though the agreement says that they're supposed to do this and you're supposed to do that, whenever they fall short on their end of the agreement, you just accept it. You become uncomfortable when you have to advocate for yourself. Let's stop right there and hold that one. You become uncomfortable when you have to advocate for yourself. So you avoid what may seem like a conflict, even though there needs to be a conflict, even though there needs to be something needs to be addressed, or you'll avoid that. You might just say, oh, it's my personality. No, it's not. It is not your natural personality to subject yourself to being mistreated. Your body is designed to protect itself. That is not natural. You want me to say that again? It is not your natural way of life for you not to protect yourself. That means when you accept being mistreated, that is not natural. The root, again, is the belief that you do not deserve more than what is offered, whether in salary, opportunity, or respect. You go into a negotiation for the new job. How many of you actually negotiate your salary every single time? Just for the giggles and the kicks. Even if they offered you, what you know is, now don't go in there and be greedy and embarrass yourself. But my point is, how many of you go in there and don't even speak up when they offered you lower than what you thought the job was? One of the things that always help me to help another person is I would have associates that would come to a job every single day and be mad at what they pay you. Speak up. That's one level of it, and that's more of the lower level of it. The real level of it is those of you that are overly qualified, that because of your self-doubt, you have gone and gotten every degree that there is to get in your field, because that's a part of your self-doubt too. You went and got every degree, and now you're sitting across from whoever this hiring manager is, and they're offering you beneath what all of your degrees say that you deserve, but because of the same reason you needed all those degrees, you can't even open your mouth and speak up for yourself. The manifestation is avoiding negotiations or self-advocacy, leading to settling for less than you deserve in professional or personal situations. You'll take less than you deserve. Because truly, deep down inside, even though your facade says that you are the top dog, in your mind, you're willing to accept whatever is put in front of you because that's who you truly believe you are. Another manifestation is the reluctance to take risks, rooted in the belief that any failure will confirm your self-doubt. Any failure will confirm what they said about you. You have literally just gotten to a point where you feel like you're not the person that they said you were. So now anything that may risk you failing to put you back into that space to confirm who they said you were, you're going to avoid it. These are the people who will accept the bare minimum of success in life because this bare minimum makes me not the failure that they said I was. But taking any other risk may cause me to fail and confirm that I am the failure. So therefore, I am going to stay in this box that I'm comfortable in, making this minimum, whatever I'm making, having this minimum experience, because at least this minimum means that I'm not the failure that they said I was. Even though my potential is for greatness. Even though I have the ability to be great, and all I need is to let go of that fear of that identity, and I can achieve way more than I ever imagined for myself. But because I am afraid, I will stay right here and be basic. At least basic is better than a failure. The manifestation is avoiding taking risks in both personal and your professional life, leading to stagnation and missed growth opportunities. Another manifestation is the externalizing decision making. The root is lack of confidence in your own decision-making abilities. The manifestation is constantly seeking others' opinions or approval before making a decision, even in situations where you are fully capable of deciding independently. You know, some of us don't. You know, some of us don't feel as confident if we don't have somebody to tell us that was a good decision. I'm just going to say it. This is also rooted in those of us that feel like you're not whole until you have a mate. I'm not saying that I wish everybody find the perfect person for you. I am aligned to find the perfect person for me. I wish we all find the perfect person for you. But I want you to understand, if your position is I am not whole and complete, or I cannot move out through life and accomplish all of my goals and achieve all of the things that are for me unless I have this type of person in my life, I want you to understand that that is a response from the root of trauma. The last one that I'll give you all is self-dismissal. Self-dismissal. The root is the belief that your thoughts, ideas, and contributions are not valuable. The manifestation is repeatedly dismissing your own ideas before they're even shared, believing they're not good enough or worth pursuing. I'm not even going to share that. Don't say that. That's dumb. Nobody's going to listen to you. Why would you even? They're not going to accept that. There's some of you that sit in meetings and you hear ideas that you have an opinion or a professional assessment that if you added that professional assessment in this meeting, it could make not only your work life easier, but it can make the work life easier of everyone around that table. But because of your self-doubt, you will sit at that table and say nothing, and then go back to your desk and have to work harder because you sat there and said nothing. What did you tell yourself? Nobody's going to listen to you. You're only going to embarrass yourself. You're going to look dumb if you say that. What makes you think they're going to listen to you? You want to embarrass yourself right now? Some of you are sitting on the greatest idea in your field of work right now. Some of you are sitting on some of the best opinions about subject matters right now. Some of you are afraid to operate in your purpose because you don't believe that you are the type of person that deserve to be in that role. Can I tell you all something? I'll be the first witness to say to you, my life, my gifts are going to put me in places that my life story didn't craft into any of the chapters. But it's because I let go of those past beliefs about myself that now I'm allowing my life and my gift to open doors that I am not trying to shut. I am no longer afraid to go to wherever my gifts may take me because I understand now that my past experiences or what anyone else have believed about me is not a dictator of my future. Self-dismissal is one of the most dangerous manifestations of self-doubt, not only because of how it hinders your progress professionally or any of those things. Self-dismissal is one of the most dangerous manifestations of self-doubt is because you are constantly telling yourself, you are reaffirming, you are using your own words. And most importantly, you're not honoring the spirit of the universal energy that you carry inside your vessel when you dismiss yourself. Self-dismissal is a byproduct of you only believing in what you physically know and what you physically see. Self-dismissal is a byproduct of you being locked only in your flesh and in your natural mind. Self-dismissal is a product that says you do not recognize that there is a spirit or a higher self along for the ride. Self-dismissal is for you to ignore that the power of God exists inside of you. Now let's transition to transforming self-doubt into confidence and empowerment. Now that we've unpacked this suitcase, this luggage, this baggage that you've been carrying. And we've seen all of the things that we don't want to carry. We no longer want to carry along with us on our journey. Let's let go of those things. And let's now give you some tools and resources that you can put in your bag as you go on along your way. The first thing I want to say in transforming self-doubt into confidence and empowerment is you must remove the mask in order to discover you. You cannot discover you if you're comfortably wearing the mask or the facade or the persona. There is no way to get to a point of confidence and empowerment if you are wearing a mask, because we are not even talking to you. You will never know how amazing you are until you see you for who you really are. The flaws and all, your greatest gift and your perceived curse are stored in the same treasure chest. Whatever it is that you think are your flaws, whatever it is that you think are your shortcomings, whatever it is that makes you feel as though you have to present yourself another way, within that thing lies the very gift that will propel you further than your facade can ever take you. For some of you all, you talk funny. And now you've adopted all these other ways of trying to present the way that you speak. For some of you all, you think differently. For some of you all, you just downright look different. For some of you all, you just process things differently. For some of you all, you see things differently. Whatever it may be that makes you unique, you cannot find anything real about yourself until you are willing to be authentically yourself. That is your greatest gift. Your authenticity. You truly as who you are, but you must remove the mask. And I know it's uncomfortable, because for some of us, we've worn that mask for so long, to look our insecurities in the face makes us scared. We don't even recognize the insecure person in the mirror anymore because the mask has looked so beautiful, so bold. But I'm here to tell you that the only way out of that insecurity is to look it in its face and address it and go through it. As long as you run from your true identity, you can never discover your gift. Because your gift is in your true identity. The peace of God, source, creator that you are inside this vessel, that is one with this vessel, can only be expressed through your true identity. You can't do God's work as your facade. That is a facade. That is a fake. That is a fraud. You can't be out here as a distributor of love trying to be something that you're not, because what is the love coming through? The love is supposed to come through all that you may see yourself as, even your flaws and your shortcomings. Here's why it's more powerful that we are used in our authentic self, flaws and all. You want to know why it's more powerful? Why we are used in our authentic self, flaws and all? Because when I see the power being utilized in you as the flawed person that you are, it makes me go, if you can be great as yourself, I don't need the mask either. God-sourced creator, your higher self cannot manifest through a facade. Your higher self cannot be manifested through a facade. Your higher self can only be manifested through your authentic representation. When you have the choice, choose people, places, and things that allow you to be authentic. When you have the choice, choose people, places, and things that allow you to be authentic. I use this funny analogy about Tarzan all the time, but it's a very deep point. There's this thought that when Tarzan got lost in the jungle, that no one went looking for him. I find this to be untrue, simply because affluent people don't just leave their kids in the jungle. This is all a part of an analogy and a joke, so just follow along. But it is very true, too. Affluent people don't just leave their kids in the jungle when they get lost. I like to think that they went looking for Tarzan for years. But at a certain point, Tarzan had dirt and mud all over him and had grew hair all over his body. He looked like the persona of his environment. Therefore, his own tribe may have seen him multiple times, but never recognized him because he was wearing a disguise. I share this analogy with my clients to help them understand that many of you have not found your tribe, not because there's not a tribe out here that you fit in. You're wearing your facade and your mask. So when people that belong to your authentic tribe see you, they go, oh yeah, you're one of those people. You're not one of us. You will never find your true tribe of people until you learn to be authentic. Or else, when you even go around the tribe that you fit in with, they're gonna look at you like the oddball because you showed up with a mask on. That's like going to Comic-Con and not having no, what do you call those things? Cosplay on. Bro, you look weird. You're the weirdo. If you go to Comic-Con with no cosplay on, you're the weirdo. Why? Because those are people that normally society considers weird, but they found their tribe. They have found their tribe. The people that were in school so into anime and wearing their cosplay and we thought they were all weird, if you go to Comic-Con now, they have found their tribe, so they show up dressed as whatever character they want to be. And if you show up not in character, you look like the weirdo. This is what it means to find your tribe. You can only find your tribe by being authentically you. Many people feel alone in this world and misunderstood and cannot align because all you've done is tried on different facade and masks. I want to give you all some affirmations that are going to help you to combat self-doubt and limiting beliefs in your life. Record this, write these down, do what you must. You all are ready? Let's go. I am the author of my story, and I choose to write one of confidence and success. I am the author of my story, and I choose to write one of confidence and success. Number 2, I am a beacon of strength, capable of turning every challenge into an opportunity for growth. I am a beacon of strength, capable of turning every challenge into an opportunity of growth. Number 3, I am worthy of every success, and I embrace my ability to achieve my dreams. I am worthy of every success, and I embrace my ability to achieve my dreams. Number 4, I am the curator of my reality, shaping my future with every confident decision that I make. I am the curator of my reality, shaping my future with every confident decision that I make. I am deserving of all the opportunities that come my way, and I seize them with conviction. I am deserving of all the opportunities that come my way, and I seize them with conviction. I am in control of my thoughts, and I choose to focus on my strengths and my potential. I am in control of my thoughts, and I choose to focus on my strengths and my potential. Number 7, I am powerful beyond measure, capable of achieving greatness in every aspect of my life. I am powerful beyond measure, capable of achieving greatness in every aspect of my life. Number 8, I am resilient, rising above self-doubt to embrace my true, limitless potential. I am resilient, rising above self-doubt to embrace my true, limitless potential. Number 9, I am unique. I am a unique and valuable individual, and my contributions are meaningful and important. I am a unique and valuable individual, and my contributions are meaningful and important. I am peaceful with who I am, knowing that I am enough and worthy of all good things. I am peaceful with who I am and knowing that I am enough and worthy of all good things. At the beginning of this conversation, I shared with you all this story about Paw Patrol. And the Dachshund, this puppy that did not know what her superpower was. And she was so fascinated with the superpowers of the other puppies that she started to feel down about herself because their powers were so amazing. And she even tried to mimic some of the powers of the other puppies and failed miserably, which made her feel even more down on herself. And then in an act of trying to save one of the other puppies, she discovered that her power, that she truly did have her superpower. And it was when she stopped trying to be like everyone else and was just authentically herself that she discovered what her superpower was. I would offer you that your superpower lies in who you are authentically. Your greatest gift lies in who you are authentically. And if you would only lean into being that, you and the world around you can experience your superpower. We will conclude this episode of Unpacking with Coach Kohn, where we unpacked self-doubt and limited beliefs. We'll conclude this episode here. I want to thank you all for being a part of this conversation. This episode of Unpacking has been brought to you by Happy Healing Health and Life Coaching Services. Happy Healing offers a variety of coaching services for those that may have specific needs. If you're interested, Happy Healing offers hourly coaching on an hourly basis. If you've heard something here today, or if there's something that you've been pondering upon that you would like to have a conversation to add some light, love, and wisdom and understanding on, then I would recommend that you look into our hourly coaching service. If you are interested, you can simply send us an email to Kohn, that's Kohn, at happyhealing.com. and put hourly coaching in the subject, and then tell me a little bit about yourself in the body of the email, and I will make sure to get back to you and send you the appropriate information to get you locked into a time slot for this hourly coaching session. If you're interested in a group mentorship, something similar to this one, where you like the shared experiences of other people as you're receiving mentorship, then I would recommend that you look into our Happy Healer mentorship group. This is a setting that we host in Zoom of 5 participants or less, where each participant's interests are included in the monthly curriculum for each group. The groups meet once a week. That's 4 meetings within a month in between these live settings every week. Oftentimes, the group mentorship, the participants will decide that they want a deeper dive into something that they've heard as a part of one of these live conversations. The group mentorship is similar to this, but you just get a more intimate experience as there are only 5 people within the Zoom meeting. If you are interested in a deeper dive, if you need more of a hands-on approach to coaching, I would recommend that you take a look at our premium coaching program, From Trauma to Triumph. This is our 90-day coaching program where we develop for you a custom 90-day curriculum based on your questionnaire and your intake session, where this 90-day journey, you will get to see and experience a lot of the modalities and coaching methods that I've explained here in Unpacking. But we teach you these methods, and we teach you the psychology behind these methods, and we teach you the spiritual perspective behind these methods, so that you have the skill set that you can utilize this at any other point in your life. If you need this deeper dive and if you need this more extended coaching experience, then join us From Trauma to Triumph. The link for all of these services can be found in the link tree in my bio, or you can simply send us an email. It is pinned here in the chat to Kohn@happyhealing.com. And I will respond and answer whatever questions that you may have, as well as send you the proper enrollment information for the coaching service that you are interested in. Do not miss out on this opportunity for you to get these valuable tools and resources on your healing journey. Our goal at Unpacking is to continue to help you daily at 9 a.m. Eastern to gain these tools in a way that generally will benefit a larger audience. But our coaching experience will give you these tools specifically related to your life experience and the things that you need for your individual journey. Again, thank you all for being a part of this conversation. To our YouTube audience, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you all here as a part of this conversation. Please do subscribe to the channel, as well as turn on your notification bell. Share our videos with your friends and family members that you feel may benefit from watching this content. And as always, it's a pleasure to have you all here with us.